actually this year. I texted someone on January 7th, the day the fire started. So unironically, I texted them, this year is gonna be fire. And that's because I had tickets to see an improv show. And I was so jazzed about it. I did try to go to that improv show, and I showed up, and they were like, we're closed. And I said, oh, cool. You should have sent an email. Those streetlights are off, though. But I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from Pittsburgh. And bridges. It's tough being so far away from family when stuff like the fires happens. And my mom really freaked out to the point where at a certain point I had to be like, hey, you actually do need to calm down. And she went, I can't. You have terrible instincts. She was like, it's the apocalypse and you're trying to go to UCB. And I said, Mom, but what you don't understand is what happens on that stage has never been done before and will never be done again. I know that story might give you the impression that I'm like a chill person. I'm not. That's never been a word used to describe me. I got a manicure recently and I was told to relax 15 times. And I don't know if you know this, that's 15 too many. I just always hold my hand like this. I'm like, is it hard to paint? And I did realize recently I do that because I'm afraid that I'll accidentally hold the hand of the manicurist. And I was like, I'm so afraid of physical and emotional intimacy that I have to make their job harder. All of that to say, I'm not a chill person. When I went home for Christmas, my mom thought it'd be a good idea that I get a massage. So she, because I'm only 29, she booked it for me, gave me directions and tip money and money for the whole massage. So I showed up again from Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh. All this to say, it wasn't like nice. It was in a strip mall, right? And I showed up to this massage parlor, and the massage therapist, let's call her Michelle, because that was very much her name. She was like, the first thing she said to me when I walked in was, do you need to tinkle? And I was like, what? I looked behind me to see if there was a shivering chihuahua, and I was like, oh, no, me? Okay. She went, do you need to tinkle? And I said, no, I'm all right. She went, well, I don't want to get you all nude back there, and then you have to toga out to the lobby. And I was like, okay, I'm in my 20s, I can go an hour without peeing, and also, I don't have to pee, I have to piss. Thank you. I'm kidding, I would never ask for what I want, but instead I went back there, we get the massage started, and one of the first things she says to me is, hey, I just want you to know I am a talker. And I've never met someone who knew themselves so well, you know? She talked the entire massage. If she really was trying to think of a point or remember something from a story, she would stop massaging. So she'd be like, where was it? Idaho, it was Idaho. Michelle was obsessed with the fact that I lived in LA. She asked me 100 questions about it. She said, at one point, she went, I was in LA once, do you think you could tell me what street I was on? And I went, no. And she said, well, it was downtown. I said, definitely no. And then she kept badgering me about it, that I eventually just went, I don't know, was it 3? And she said, yeah, it was probably 3. About 20 minutes into this massage, Michelle started sighing very heavily. She was going, oh, God. Whew. And I went, are you okay? And she went, uh-huh, yeah. A few minutes would go by and she'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ. God. I went, Michelle, what's going on? And she said, I asked you if you had to tinkle, but I didn't ask me. And I went, go to the bathroom. And she was like, no, I can handle it. And then she sighed a few more times, and I was like, please, I'm begging you, go. Like, go to the bathroom. She went, she was gone for 15 minutes. Full 15. I'm just laying face up, tits akimbo, waiting for her to come back. She came back, we went right back into questions. She came back and she said, her first question back was, how many siblings do you have? Normal, fine question. tough for me. I used to have 2. So, that puts me in a position that I'm in a lot, where I can either lie to this woman, and I've been caught, or I can make her very, very uncomfortable. Now, Michelle has spent the last 30 minutes making me very, very uncomfortable, so I said, let's go with that. At first I just went, oh, you know, I have 2. And she said, well, what do they do? And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, my sister's in marketing. My brother doesn't do much. You know, he just kind of lays around. He's not very active. No, I was honest. I said, my sister's in marketing. That's still true. And I was like, and my brother is dead. And she, without skipping a beat, went, oh, car accident? And I'm just kind of like, what did she want from that? For me to be like, yeah, it was a car accident. Not a lot of people guessed that. Good job. And I said, no, it was illness. And she went, oh, cancer? And part of me wanted to be like, keep guessing. Keep fucking guessing. Let's see if you can get to membranoprolific glomerulonephritis. I'll stay here all day. But I actually, at that point, kind of got mad, and I said, it wasn't cancer. And listen, no offense to cancer, I love cancer. And then Michelle looked at me so sincerely, and she went, you know, I guess you're right. I guess it's sad even if it wasn't cancer. And I feel like Michelle really learned something that day. When I left, Michelle said, do you want to come back when next time you're in town? Do you want to get another massage? And I went, yes, I do. I'll be right back here.